I just realized I've been played by my crush. How do you deal with a broken heart? Although the title is pretty self-explanatory, I would like to give a little more context. I met this guy at a friend's party about 6 months ago. Ever since then, we've been chatting really frequently and gone out a few times. Every time we spoke and interacted it felt so organic and romantic. He always used to tell me cute things, send me song and overall, do all the stuff people do when they're getting to know someone while being interested in them. I made my feelings pretty evident too. A few days ago, we were really high with a bunch of other friends and decided to go all together to get some sleep. All our friends took the space in the king-size bed and we ended up having to share an individual mattress on the ground, just the two of us. He was really stoned and chatty, but eventually, he calmed down and went to sleep, or so I thought. When out of the blue, he kissed me. Naturally, I kissed him back and we started making out and hugging for a few minutes. After that, he gained a little consciousness and started to apologize very regretfully and telling me, "I'm sorry, I would have never done that if I was sober, I think I just ruined our friendship." I started questioning him in an attempt to calm him down and he replied, "I really care about you and I just want us to be friends, I'm sorry, I really messed up." I felt humiliated and destroyed. I stayed for a bit to make sure he calmed down, and as soon as he went back to sleep, I got out of there. And here we are. I talked to him afterwards and he just reassured me everything he said that night. He also stated if I wanted something with you, I would have done a move way sooner. That broke me. He did made moves. He flirted with me a lot, he asked me out on dates, and for some reason, I'm the dumb one for thinking that meant something. That just made me realize he actually didn't cared about me, he just wanted to feel appreciated and desired by someone. Have any of you gone through something familiar? Do you have any advice, experience, tip? Comment. Next story 2. My boyfriend had a silent fit because I wouldn't go down on him. We had a wonderful night before and slept together peacefully. We woke up early in the morning around 9 a.m., which is early for me considering we were up since 2 a.m., and he tried getting me on so we can fool around. This is the part where it's my fault because I was playing with him and thought we were going to have sex. Instead he wanted me to go down on him instead and swallow too like I did a week ago, but I just wasn't in the mood to do that, mainly because I have a sensitive gag reflex. He likes it sloppy and wet, and that alone easily triggers it, and the only way I can swallow is when my mouth is clean from saliva. He didn't understand that and immediately I felt his mood go away. We went back to sleep and I woke up and he was noticeably colder and woke up and immediately went on his phone instead of cuddling me in the morning like we usually do. He was also very short and dry with me and I asked him if he wanted to fool around and he coldly says he wasn't in the mood. This lasted until we got food and I asked him if he held a certain expectation of me since he watched porn. Personally, I do not mind a partner watching porn as long as it doesn't affect our relationship, but the situation seemed like it, so I asked. He immediately became apologetic and realized where I was going at and cuddled me intensely and explained that it's a him problem and it was something he needed to get over with, and said he needs to understand that he can't force me to do something I'm not up for. I also apologized that I can't expect him to do what I want all the time, which is penetration. I'm still a little shaken over what happened, despite the fact we talked things over and apologized and said bye under good terms when we had to part ways. He also hasn't texted me all day like he usually does, and I had to initiate conversation every time, to which he doesn't respond sometimes. This is my first real relationship, but I do understand relationships and love take work. However, it's moments like these that make me work and question our compatibility. What would you guys do in this situation, and how do I get over a bump like this in our relationship? Comment. There's a lot going on and you guys are still learning each other. So mishaps will happen. Next time it may be you that isn't happy for a while. Rejection just sucks. That doesn't mean you shouldn't reject him when you're not comfortable. But it still stings. He sounds like a child. If you don't want to go down on him, don't. For him to make you feel like you did something wrong is childish and stupid. He needs to respect your wishes and vice versa. You did a good job handling the whole situation, though. I hope he stops doing this. If he doesn't, you can do a lot better. I don't think it's a bump in the relationship as much as it's a big red flag. Good guys don't act like that to their partner. Ever. Sometimes the fit throwing doesn't stop. I personally would not call or text first. He's being dry on the phone. Leave him alone. He's still throwing a silent fit. Ask yourself if you really want to deal with that anymore. Next story 3. My boyfriend said that talking to me wasn't as important to him. I am considering the whole relationship. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 1 year and a half. There is a gap of 2 months between when we called our relationship a quit since I wanted commitment and he didn't. So it could be seen as just above 1 year. He is a great boyfriend. We have done so many things together. He was with me during my difficult times and supported me mentally. We have always been together. Except for one thing, he doesn't have much experience in dating, so he sometimes hurts me unintentionally. We always talked after that. I let him know how I felt, we looked at each other's sides and solved things. He was just away on holiday with his mates for 3 days in another city. And after getting back, we expected to see each other but couldn't since I forgot my key to the apartment, and he couldn't open the door for me. So I went back to mine and suggested a 5-minute phone call before we sleep. At that point, it had been 3 days without any conversation between us. He isn't a texter, texting made him feel wrong. He has a tradition of playing games with his mates every night from 9:30 p.m. I know they are playing Baldur's Gate now. It is the kind of game where they take turns to play. So he couldn't just leave to call me. That's why I let him know in advance, and remind him again when I am about to go to sleep. However, when he called me, he had me on one side of the headphones, and the other side was for his mates playing games. I was upset but didn't say anything. I simply said good night and went to bed. I wanted to talk about it with him today. But I was busy during the day. My family came to visit. And when I came back, he told me that he planned to play games again tonight. At that time I felt so frustrated. We didn't meet or talk for days and he still couldn't spare a night for me. So I texted him about how I felt. And I suggested we both think about it before we could speak again. It unexpectedly turned out to us going back and forth, and ended with him saying that he could take that into consideration and he could prioritize it even if calling me wasn't as important for him as it was for me. It broke my heart and he still didn't know which part he said was hurtful to me. To be fair, after I said it upsetted me that he still played games after 3 days away, he did said that he could spare a night for me, just didn't like the way I brought it up. I am taking some time on my own now but it made me think about the whole relationship. He alternated my plans with him to make plans with his friends, saying that since I am his girl, I would understand. I understood that, and I let it go, but with this happening again, it made me recall that time. He never shared anything about me on his social media. I understood, but the only time I shared about us, he made me take it down. It's because he didn't like himself in the photo, he said. And he didn't want his family to see he is being happy with his girlfriend while not responding to their messages. He wanted to fix the relationship with his dad. And other things, but in the end, I felt like I loved him more than he loved me and that's why I felt hurt. Other than that, he is still a great boyfriend. He listened and improved himself. He was with me and helped me overcome my hard times. I am not sure if I am overreacting over what he said. I am working on my own right now but I am not sure if the way I see it is right. How should I look at the situation? Comment. To be blunt, it seems like you are still not in a committed relationship. He is getting the relationship he wants, with little commitment and you are accepting it up until now. He can shuffle you to the side for things he considers more important, then get to you when he feels like it, or wants something. That is not a healthy dynamic in a relationship. And I felt a bit alarmed that not only does he not share anything about you on social media, this can be that some people are private, but if he is a frequent poster, it is a bad sign, but when you posted something he made you take it down. That sets off an alarm bell with me that he may want to appear available in case someone else comes along. He is not prioritizing you. I don't know the good things he has done for you, but this kind of treatment would not be okay with me. I'd be absolutely pissed and letting him know that if this is the relationship he wants, it isn't with you. Assert your needs and boundaries, and if he cannot accept them, it is better to know now than invest more time with a guy who was never going to commit. You deserve a better deal than that.